Who knows? Who knows? Sometimes it might take a second. I actually don't go in and look like the first second, but I think we're live. We got these 24-hour markets opening up here any second. How is everybody doing? We got the stock market almost back open again. That might have been, yeah. All right, so we are up and live. Welcome, welcome. I love the live chat on here, so I'm going to be, let me make sure I can get to that as well. So anyone joining in, say hello. Tell us what stocks you want us to look at. We have the 24-hour markets on Robinhood, single stocks opening up. Stock futures starting out green. I'm seeing my things are like 10 minutes delayed because I'm not really trading it, but up like 0.3, 0.4% so far. I know it can change. What's up, Chaser? Shout out. But yeah, we have these
Chaser
24-hour
first
markets
one.
on Robin. First comment, shout out.
There we
I'm
go.
excited. I have some Google calls, which, as you can see in the last couple minutes here, I have no idea how well you can see as well. It had a nice ramp into the end of the close on Friday. I'm excited to see where this ends up playing out. Watch it, fill this gap here and be around like the 175, 176, which would still be good, but not quite it. Ooh, we got a lot of comments. We got Leo saying NVIDIA wants us to look at NVIDIA. I already have it up here. It is 8 p.m. 24-hour markets are open. That's a nice little wick up on NVIDIA there, as you're saying it. Let these give it a second to go through. Apple, nice wick up, 202.13 on Apple. Let me see if there's any other ones. Hello, what's up, Paul? And said, Coors is what he wants us to look at. Last time, Emp, we had people telling us nonstop about the Zeta stock.
And
I know that
went
one ended
crazy.
up having a ripper. So maybe we got to figure
was all
out
over that.
what stocks the peoples are talking about. AMD, Pepsi, hi. What's up, DGens? I listen to you guys every day. Shout out Al or AI. You never know.
I think it's AI.
Yeah. I have this on the 5-minute chart, by the way. I think you guys should be able to see this. Let me know how well you can see this. AMD. Let's take a look. AM Dizzle. It had initial move higher, like a gap, but it's coming back down a tiny bit. Still a nice move. 144.24.
Futures, when they opened up a little bit ago, they've been pushing up basically the whole time. And so like I was looking at it, I was watching it from where we finished the day. We pushed up. I mean, a solid amount. I know in Q, for example, it was up about 100 points from where we closed out on Friday. Right now, back down a little bit, still up 59. We'll call it 60 points. I'm positive today. That's 0.25%. ES the same, 0.22, up about 14 points. It was up around 25 a while ago. So nice little move up here, and that explains some of these stocks, gapping up, catching up to where they should be with the futures. And then, I'm waiting on somebody to drop the banger of the week, because last week, I tell you what, Evan, and you saw it, the chat was all over this thing. Zeta, Z-E-T-A.
Let me know if you were sharing your screen there, because I don't think they were able to see it, because I was.
No, I was not. But I can.
Palantir, no, you're good. Palantir had a big drop into the close. 137 down to like 131. It's pretty much brought it all the way back up to that 137. So Palantir is back to where it was before that last candle on Friday.
Some of these daily charts, it's insane. I mean, when we had that consolidation, and we spoke about this on multiple spaces, but we essentially consolidated for like 28 trading days, like 42 calendar days. And so you usually get a nice, follow through. That's what we've had, the last 4 days, I guess, really. It was Monday into Tuesday that we kind of started getting the breakout, and then boom, just took off.
Boom.
Happy new all-time highs to everyone that celebrates,
Yeah, I wonder what that's going to end up look like. By the way, this week we have the stock market will be closed on Friday, and the stock market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. So it's a pretty shortened week here. Palantir is looking nice though. NVIDIA back up 158.50. If we were open, close to those all-time highs again. But merry new all-time highs. My portfolio is right there. Although I've had some Google calls, and I still have them open a little bit right now, so I'm watching them. But I'm excited. So it could be a good moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I was going through. I've got my legend pulled up as well on Robinhood. I'm kind of looking at some of these some of these names, just see if anything really sticks out to me. And then I've been just, Sunday night doing my charting. I'm excited to see what all. I mean, you mentioned we have a short week. We have an early close on Thursday. Obviously, Friday we're off. We're all shooting fireworks and eating hot dogs and all that good stuff. But I am interested. What all is going on this week, Evan? I was just kind of getting that pulled up. I'm actually curious. I know you'll jump into that at some point, but I'm curious how many events are actually going on this week with a shortened week.
1 second, I'm actually making a post, but it was a couple PCEs this week. We also have Pavel speaking at some point, but really not that much. I'll look through it in a second.
I knew Powell was on there. I was looking at some other stuff. I think we do get I think we get non-farm payrolls a day early. Usually it's the first Friday of every month, and I believe we get that Thursday morning. We'll get a full Catalyst watch up here in just a minute as Evan gets that post out. Kind of going through the charts here to see what levels we're working with. We're sitting right at Friday's highs on the ES futures. So basically SPY, same thing. What's the chat? What's chat up to? AMD, I see in the chat. Thoughts on Circle, MSTR, PLTR, Hinge,
All right, there we go.
IREN. Does IREN have overnight? Do you have IREN on
some of
overnight
these
trading?
ones, these smaller ones won't as much. Which app is this? Where can I see the pre-market prices? Whale Alert. This is on Robinhood Legend, is what I'm on. Now, I don't know. You can think about what it is. I've been getting a little bit more used to it. But it's decent. It's decent. We'll see. They've also been making a lot of changes. Thoughts on Circle is what I got asked. I can't tell you why it's worth where it's at. Maybe if it was closer to that IPO price, up a little bit in the overnight, up 3.5%. 1 second, let me close this window.
The birds sounded. I was vibing with the birds there.
There's people across the street, which was what I actually got to them hearing. All right, let me share a different screen.
Robinhood's up nicely here too.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that in a second. Let's go through the Catalyst watch, some of the events that you guys should be watching for the week. If you guys didn't know, tomorrow is also the last day of the first half of the year. Tomorrow is the last day of Q2, which means Tuesday is the first day of Q3. Maybe there's some stuff with kind of portfolio managers changing some stocks around so that if you don't know, whenever they make those filings of 13Fs and institutional investors and other managers, it tends to be as of the end of the quarter. So it's as of the end of the close on Monday. So if they bought a little bit of Apple on Monday and, as of the close, it would say in their portfolio that they had it if they wanted to show that they own that stock during the quarter. So it's called window dressing. That might end up happening. That might have looked bad there. So keep an eye out for that one. We do have a shortened week this week. Like I said a little bit earlier, the stock market is closed on Friday. Thursday is closing. It is closing at 1 p.m. Eastern. Here's some stuff on Monday, tomorrow to look out for. Quiet period expires on Circle to free up analysts to post ratings. Interesting. Can't imagine that moves the stock too much.
No, but I am interested what these analysts are going to come out and say with the Genius Act going on, with all of these, stable coins. We're seeing multiple large cap companies. I mean, your Walmarts, your Amazons, your JP Morgans, all talking about stable coins right now. So I'm interested to see what kind of valuation are they going to put on this thing. I mean, obviously it's probably overvalued right now just on a price basis, but I want to see what these analysts say about Circle. I want to see some updates on Coin as well, just around that whole Genius Bill and stablecoin thing.
Breakout starts now. Market is going up for 3 days is what some of these comments are I'm reading. Sent NVIDIA is what someone said here. But yeah, let's continue going on. There isn't too much more. I don't know too much about stable coins. Fed President Bostic will be speaking Tuesday and Wednesday. Honestly, I want to even skip this earnings calendar. I wanted to get to this. Go Moon. Ooh, that looks horrible. There we go. Bostic. And then we should be Atlanta Fed Chair Powell speech, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday. I don't know if you know where he's speaking of. Do you?
I'll look it up actually right now.
This might say it actually right here. Federal Chair will participate in a policy panel before the European Central Bank Forum on Central Banking 2025, blah, blah, blah. So he's speaking there. Okay. And then the one big event that I was watching for this week, really, which I did talk a little bit about earlier? Portugal scored or something?
No. It's in Portugal.
Oh,
The
okay. Because
European Central
isn't
Bank Forum.
there's some soccer stuff going on right now?
There is
Keep going.
the Gold Cup. The U.S. is playing right now. I can't see it. It's around the corner of my other room here. But U.S. is playing right now. There's also the Club World Cup going on. So had some of that going on in the background. Guatemala just beat Canada in penalties a while ago to knock them out.
But yeah, before I change back off, let's go to the prices. Thursday, normally Friday is when NFP comes out, non-farm payroll. It's actually a pretty big data point. It's going to be coming out on Thursday, and I know people like Paper and others, they look towards that NFP as a big day for, going forward, where the market's going to bounce off of. It's going to be very interesting with that being a day where it closed at 1 p.m. Eastern. But Thursday morning, that is when you're getting non-farm payroll, unemployment rate, initial jobless claims. That'll be an interesting morning, Thursday morning. But that's a lot of the catalyst watch for the week. Really not too much going on, and there's a couple interesting moves. Back on my legend. Nvidia 185 158.44. Again, these moves don't really matter that much. I mean, we're talking volumes of like not much, but it is fun to watch. Help you guys get ready for the week. Help myself get ready for the week too. I enjoy just kind of sitting here. But tomorrow, like we were saying there, Circle should be an interesting one to watch. Let's get some Circle. It is here. As there might be a lot of analyst reports coming out. And yeah. DJ Flo has asked us Pepsi. And I think he put it in earlier as well. You guys should comment what you guys are watching this week, anything like that. I might have had that on the screen for a while. We've had 4,600 people in here. Yeah, Pepsi's not going to move much in after hours.
Pepsi, yeah, right now it won't be, but if we're talking about what's coming up, this week or in the future, it is interesting. I know Casey Trades has been all over Pepsi. He's tried it multiple times, and it keeps coming off the same area. And the daily chart, full candle on Friday, it looks like it wants to go test higher again. I don't know. It's interesting. It's been going sideways for.
We're gonna get copyrighted. I'm too good.
Yeah, it sounded just like the guy actually. But yeah, we have a month of sideways actions in a tight range on Pepsi. It looks like it's getting ready to make a move somewhere away from this area.
Something in my portfolio with a nice little spike up here. Apple, yeah. Did I take up? No, Apple. Where is it? Up 0.35. That's actually pretty nice. What else? Amazon. We haven't looked at. Same timing.
Yeah, I just pulled up Amazon because Amazon was one that was just kind of moving straight up off of the open here. Didn't really have any type of pullback, but it is low volume. I get it, but it is just interesting to see kind of what price these things are at. And then I always check again, obviously in the morning when I wake up, check pre-market, 6 a.m. ish, 6 a.m. depending. When I wake up and see where things are at. Is Coinbase? I'm curious if Coinbase is moving.
PLTR was, Hood was, Coin's up a little.
Seems like everything's moving up. Tesla just basically flat was the only one I saw on my main watch list here.
Yeah, Robinhood has an event tomorrow, crypto event. Here, let's go to the
yeah, Vlad tweeted that. I caught that, and I've been a busy man, but I did catch that from Vlad.
So I know this is I know they had Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin in there at something. Oop, what's happening here? All right, whatever. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, something big is servicing. Join us live, 5 p.m. CEST. What does that mean? 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, that's what we got to know. Everyone, only Eastern. That's all that matters. Here, let's stop sharing the screen. Let's click this link. And all that link brings you is to their live stream. There's not really much more information. Live from the French Riviera. Tune in to witness our CEO Vlad Tenev reveal our biggest crypto announcements of the year. Have you heard people talk about stablecoins? People are excited about that, maybe. And a few others. I know they have the 2% or 1% match. Trying to get your crypto people right now. Thoughts on ASTS? You an ASTS guy, Emp?
ASTS is actually, I was checking my boss. Let me pull it up again and double check here just to get a current update. ASTS was actually my biggest winner so far. I reset my entire portfolio, bought the dip April 4th, April 7th, And my top gainer, let's see. Okay, it came back down a little bit. ASTS did overtake Hood briefly for my top gainer, but these space stocks, man, they just keep going. That's what I like about ASTS, and I'm just bullish the sector. I like ASTS, I like Rocket Lab a little bit as well, and it is running into. I mean, it's in price discovery mode. When you get a full breakout like this to new all-time highs, you're kind of in price discovery. Had a lot of up days in a row, so seeing a few red days, little pullback days, makes sense, but still hanging out here right around this $50 range. I'm looking at a daily chart here, and yeah, there's selling pressure on the chart, but you know, this is a name that just continues to go up. And every time I hear people talk about it, people are very bullish on it. So, you know, that's what I have on ASTS. I mean, space just seems like a theme that's not going away. You know, some of these other, the quantum computing, like it pops up, dies off for a bit, pops up again. Kind of in and out, but these space stocks seem like they've continued to have momentum.
Yeah, no. So space, it's surprised me. There definitely is a lot of momentum behind these ones, and I agree, and I definitely wouldn't short it or anything. I don't fully get this name as much of like a hey, I see a Rocket Lab, I see the opportunity there more. I feel like um the business of launching rockets and being able to challenge that angle of SpaceX rather than the angle of the satellites is more the area that interests me in this point of where that market is. But we'll see. So I would tell you I think the theme is hot. ASCS is a good trader. Probably want to stay in it. I don't know if I'm fully sold on the long term thesis of it yet. It's interesting because obviously we started to do work with starfighters right at like a perfect time where it's becoming everyone's talking about it now. So we've been digging into it deeper and deeper, and I find that launch side of the market to be very interesting right now. And Rocket Lab is doing some good stuff.
Yeah, Rocket Lab. So like you essentially have a competitor for sending stuff up there with Rocket Lab, and then you have ASTS and is more of like in the small satellite space. And we're seeing like T-Mobile and some of these other cell companies. Like I know you guys have probably seen it on your if you have an iPhone, you've seen that option now to test and get connectivity right to satellites pretty much anywhere you are. I think it's a matter of time. There'll be probably before too long, we'll be sitting here, or not, maybe not sitting inside, but if you're outside, out and about, you could just probably connect your phone to satellite anywhere you are. You could be in the tundra of, I don't know, down south in Chile on one of those
In the Arctic
glaciers
tundra.
down there, the Arctic, Antarctic
Rest in
tundra, or
peace,
the Arctic.
Outdoor Boys. He's not actually passed away, but he did stop posting, and that's really sad. Now I'm getting a lot of like clones of him like in my whatever in my feed. So we'll see. Some of them are decent. They've got me hooked a little bit. Yep, we got these markets. Google's looking pretty decent in 24 hours. So was Robinhood, and I know PLTR was as well. Sorry for that noise. PLTR up 4% in the 24-hour market. So it'll be a very interesting one to watch. Drop in the comments though what stock you guys are watching for this week. If you guys are even trading this week, I'm curious what trades you're looking at. If you guys have any calls or puts or anything that you had open coming into this week, I had a couple longer term stuff. Apple. I have long-term Nvidia swings. Google, we talked about. Took AMC via Prospero. They had them on the short-term playlist. Ooh.
I was
Okay.
going through. I closed out on Friday. I closed out all of my remaining options. Just everything that I had option wise. I'm still long equity a lot of things, but pretty much everything that I had played out to where I wanted it to. I mean, if it keeps going, it keeps going. I have the equity exposure, but it seems
Apple
like
is not
leaders are
yet.
leading. Apple, yeah, well, Apple. So you know what's interesting about that? I actually was thinking this over yesterday when we were talking about it on the way down back in early March. We were talking about the generals falling, especially talking like Mag 7, and we saw Tesla kind of it's in its own little dance step, right? But we saw Nvidia coming down. We saw Microsoft kind of let us down. Actually, Microsoft was the first one that just looked way weaker than everything else. And then here on the other side, it's gone up, and it's actually it was the one that led us up first. It's the one that was making all-time highs first and continues to be strong. And I say that because Apple was the last general that fell on the way down. I'm wondering, is this the last general that rises back up? Honestly, I actually think that's probably going to be the catch-up play that does happen with Apple. Is that all these other names have run, and
Google
then people are
has
like, "Don't
Google
forget
has been
Apple."
doing it. Google has been the one doing it.
A
They've
little
both
bit
been
too,
in that kind
yeah.
of
Google's an
scenario.
interesting one too. Yeah, so maybe you're kind of your last two to fall, and maybe they'll be your last two to rise back up. That makes sense in my head, just as and from the
I
market
get knocked
mechanics.
down.
But I get up again. Well, that's
That's all
just
this is
how
gonna
the
be. Me just singing just random songs as it
what
comes
we
up.
just throwing some random song lyrics. But no, it does make sense. As the market, like your
Hints.
leaders lead. I mean, you look at so like one of the things that I was noticing over this weekend when I was just doing some charting, and last week I was kind
He's
of
at
in the
50,
stock picks
goddamn.
show. My thought process in the stock pick show was, hey, the leaders of the market are leading. Your Nvidias, then your Broadcoms, your Netflix, and so that's why I just went with those in my stock picking competition as well. I said, hey, give me AVGX and NFLU. Shout out to Rex Shares for giving those 2x leverage. But those, I said, hey, the leaders are going to lead. That's where I want to be. And that's what we've had. And so now I'm wondering, do we get the broadening out? Do we get the catch up, which is a healthy market when your leaders take off and then you have your other names play the little bit of catch up after that. A little ketchup in the fries.
You big hymns guy? I'm not a big hymns
I'm
guy
not.
on the long term. I'm
I,
not
no,
not. I just it's not something that necessarily gets me super excited. I know. We've honestly been on the one like it's a pretty nice chart there. Up and to the right. I can even look.
yeah, it's a good chart. I don't understand enough about it to like be excited about it. I know a lot of people do. Some of the people in our spaces even very very researched on it. I am not a biotech, pharmaceutical, any of the above type of trader. So I stay away from this one. And this is of all the kind of popular ones, this one and Palantir just kind of escaped me a long time ago. And HIMS, I'm just kind of like, I just don't have enough conviction personally. But I know a lot of people like the name. A lot of people like what it's doing. And this may be just, what's the old saying, Evan? You can't kiss all the girls, is what they say. This may be just one of those that I just don't have a place for it personally in my portfolio because I like so many other companies. But maybe it's the one that got away, right? Maybe it's another one that hey, I missed out on this one. I'm
Yeah,
not
I don't
against
know.
it. I think that gets
Just
misconstrued.
doesn't
Some
do it for
people are
me.
like, "Oh, you don't own hymns. You're against it." I'm not against it. I think it's fine. I just don't have any conviction towards it.
I am not. Let's see. I'm not. It just doesn't do it for me. It's like, okay, that might be a decent business. Like, truthfully, Robinhood, I don't love the broker business. It's not one that I necessarily get excited about investing in. I think it's a really difficult space. And, like we're talking about humanoid robots and we're talking about, autonomous vehicles and these huge AI data centers. And then you want me to get behind, these other smaller things. Which I struggle with a little bit. So it doesn't mean there aren't opportunities there, but I'm just not going in super far into that direction. I have no problems with him. I also haven't looked in too aggressively into it. What's this say? Jada says, I like your thinking, Emp, on the catch up. Looks like it could be playing out on the index levels with Dow Jones and IWM starting to outperform SPY and QQQ in the near term.
Yeah, it's interesting because like the DAO itself, I mean, IWM is kind of its own story, right? IWM, yeah, you can see some broadening in IWM. IWM is more of a rate story than anything, and there's this massive power struggle going on over rates, and it just doesn't look like rates are going to do anything just yet. Now, when they do, when there's whispers of it, you'll start seeing IWM catch some more activity. But until then, I just as long as rates are look like we're sitting where we're sitting, until there's an actual high probability or signaling of rate cuts, I'm not super excited about IWM. The Dow though, and the Dow does seem like okay, you've made all-time highs on Nasdaq first. The S&P caught up. the Dow Jones isn't too far away. If you go to DIA, let's see, what's it measure at? I'm just curious here. It's about a 3% move off. Like that would not surprise me to see that Dow Jones catch up in the next,
Yeah,
week
with
to 10
United Health
days.
is it's interesting.
United Health, if United Health can catch a bid, you've got some other big names in there that obviously help move the Dow. I always forget, like, isn't like Uber is in here, I think. Is that right? No, not Uber. Um, what's the Boeing? Boeing is in the, and not those are not related. I was just trying. Boeing to me seems like it's not a Dow Jones stock, but it is in the Dow Jones.
If I wanted to be a pessimist on the Dow Jones,
Well, like you look through it and you go, okay, you have some really good names in here that look like they might want to catch up. Obviously, you've got some like McDonald's and stuff like that. Home Depot hasn't been doing super great. Visa, obviously, with some of
Emp, I'm
this.
drawing some lines. Tell me why these lines are dumb.
Um,
You got that one up there
it's
up
not
the
a
top. If you want to be
it's
a
not a
little,
terrible.
little
It's,
pessimist,
it's
horizontal
not
line there
terrible.
feels like one kind of like around. It really feels like a range between like there, to like there. There's like a little bounce off range. Oh, it's a little pretty trend line there. Oh, it goes even deeper.
Yeah, I think you could be a
This
little
is
bit more.
2000. This is 2008.
Oof.
Nah.
That's probably too far back. But
What's this?
either way,
2020.
the Dow looks like if it goes much higher, the 440s is what I'm
Oh, yeah,
seeing.
that one worked out a little better.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, to me it looks like 440. 440, it's going to test that trend line area that you drew, but it's probably going to test these highs. I just think it's a matter of time, is what it looks like to me.
To me, the stupid
But
person.
it's just it's
What
my
I
look at
just
it.
drew here was a chop sideways bias until like fucking next year.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I look at those lines that you drew. I
They're
don't
like
hate those lines at all. Actually, what I'm looking at, I see
wonderful
those lines and
lines. They're great
I, s-
lines.
I see it reclaim back into that area. And then once it got in there, it held the bottom line you drew and then it broke out. So what I'm seeing is a breakout to go test highs. That's the way I read that.
All right, I'm done drawing lines. Sorry guys, I haven't even looked at the comments. People are like, "What? This is astrology for men." Now I'm just having fun. All right, let's get back. Let's get the screen back. Chart. All right, what do we want? Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Google. Okay, this is the one day. Just 5 minute. Nice.
No one that's on my radar
What's one
a
on your
little bit.
radar?
Warren Buffett, Omaha.
Omaha.
Not just Omaha. Like, I mean, shout out to Vista Shares. We can definitely take a look at that. But
Yeah, so
actually,
we've had that ticker
Berkshire.
going. If you guys haven't seen
Yeah,
that ticker going on the bottom, it's a company we're working with. Shout out to Vista Shares. Working with us, supporting the team, for supporting the squad. They have a ticker OMAH. They have a couple others, and like, listen, this is a product that you would be putting your money in. You definitely don't want to just go in and buy that just because you hear it. Especially like we're working with them. So definitely keep that in mind. But they have a bunch of really interesting products. OMAH is one that ends up tracking. Let's look it up. This is what happens when you go to that website. It tracks the 15 largest holdings in Berkshire Hathaway and Berkshire Hathaway itself, and then sells some cover calls against them. Has 300 million AUM behind it, so someone's putting money behind it. I promise you, that's not all me. This is some of the payouts they've had. Basically, the concept is betting like investing in the Warren Buffett type names, selling a cover call strategy on top of them, getting a little bit of income, a distribution rate of 15%, and the rest of it is a little bit of upside. So they're trying to play a concept of Warren Buffett, but with income. So shout out to them. We appreciate them. Like I said, we're working with them, and we appreciate, we're here on a Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern making live free content. We're going to be doing that all throughout the week, all into due time, and companies like Vista Shares allow us to do this. So shout out to them. We're at least looking into their products. They create interesting and cool vehicles. We appreciate them for working with them, supporting us, sponsoring the stream.
Yeah, big shout out to Vista Shares. Some really interesting ones they have on there. But what I was gonna say is, I mean, obviously they have the Warren Buffett, the Omaha,
Blue 42.
Red 18.
What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Berkshire.
So I can't interrupt you.
Okay, perfect. No, one chart that I'm kind of looking at here as everything else is kind of taken off is Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, it's almost like people forgot about this one a little bit, but you look at where it's sitting, there's two previous daily highs, late September and then November, right in this area where it's consolidating. The 200-day moving average is right here as well. So if you're looking at, that's Berk.B, if anybody's curious, this 482 to 485 area is a very interesting area to me on Berkshire Hathaway, and it's something that I really don't have in my portfolio. So I've been eyeing that. That OMAH I've been eyeing as well. When you think about, gosh, do you want to put $400 share of something in there, or do you want to take maybe a professionals that have a ETF built around the strategy? Just something to consider. But it is something that's on my radar. I'm just watching, if Warren Buffett, and it may take until 13F season, which I think is going to be very interesting, coming up in about a month and a half, probably at this point. Last day of the quarter tomorrow, usually, 5 to 6 weeks after that, we start to get those 13Fs. And the last round of 13Fs that we got was all for Q1, which we know all of that was tariff freakout, pre-market bottom. So I'm interested to see what everyone's buying and stuff.
By the way, month and a half is when you should expect those 13Fs. And video was a nice extra couple 30-cent move. Dude, the Google can open up here. So here's what happened. I bought 170 calls which expired last week, and then I rolled those into 175 calls, which now expire this upcoming week. Got into $1.45, and they closed at $4.43. Hot. So I kind of want to roll those. A la paper is doing his thing. Maybe hit the 180s. We'll see, but God, open the market. I'm so excited. This was like, I'm sitting here like, okay, this is when people say the stock market is gambling. This is what they mean, because I am so ready to go in and gamble. Open the market again. Let me gamble. Boom. Sorry, I know it's like horrible, and that's like the opposite. Like I'm just a long-term investor. I'm a big VOO, QQQ, couple others, and chill. But it's fun, especially when there's not much going on in the market. CRM and Walmart. I don't imagine there's too much behind these ones right now. CRM up a tiny bit. Nice little double green candle, which doesn't really make much sense. It's up a little bit. And the other one was Walmart.
Futures getting a nice little hold and push back towards the highs here as well.
Tesla's looking nice. So is Google. I think Nvidia was as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, look. So
get Broadcom. Broadcom's up the most on my list. I look at the top 10 QQQ names. That's just the way I do it. A lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people do. A lot of people do Mag 7, of course. Top 10 NASDAQ holdings. You throw Broadcom, you throw Netflix and Costco into the mix, and you get 10 instead of Mag 7. Those are the main ones I watch. That's my primary watch list. So Nvidia, nice move, almost 159 again here on Nvidia. Wow. Everything looks just uber bullish, honestly. If you look across the board, that's why you hear people like Paper Gains saying he's just I'm just take profit and roll it, take profit and roll it. He's like, eventually one of them will go to zero, but the amount of profit you make along the way, give it 4 or 5 times, you double your money. That last time you can take it, just ride the train until it gets to the station. What is the White House streaming? Have you seen this, Evan?
No, I'm not looking this second. One second. I wanted to post in the chat you're at so people can know to follow you, but it wasn't letting me do it that well. If you
If
are
you go
in
to
the X chat right now, I am about to post Emp's. There we go. That is Emp's Twitter account. You guys should make sure you're following him. You're following. Appreciate him for doing this with me. What were you saying?
I kind of forgot, honestly.
Yeah, that was more important anyway.
I don't know what I was gonna say. No, I just clicked on this White House stream that's going on. Apparently, they have a lo-fi MAGA video to relax and study to, and it's literally just showing slides with cartoon pictures of the one big, beautiful bill.
Bill. What a bill. Wonderful bill. Look at what a move in NVIDIA. It is now worth more than Broadcom. Great stock. Wonderful company. 159.
No, it's not. You're
Yeah, it
wrong.
is. No, now it just changed.
Side.
First, it was there.
Your connection is slow.
I
Disgusting
wish we could play
pig.
music.
You can, actually.
I guess we're just
Not like
live
your
on
own.
YouTube. Well, X doesn't care. Do they?
No, X does not care. On YouTube, like if you go to your settings over there on the right side, there you can throw some hip hop or chill hop.
Like, who wants that?
I don't know, a little elevator music. I enjoy it. I know it's not for everyone. I enjoy it. Now Nvidia is up more than 1%. Here in overnight trading, 160 Nvidia question mark. Oil, by the way, oil pushing down.
Channels. Let's shut down the YouTubes and just listen to some music.
I'm looking at can you do that midstream? I didn't know you could do that. That's cool.